Can I make an app for this phone in the next 4 days? That's the challenge. And with no idea how I'm going to do it, I'll need to use AI. Not just for ideas, not just for how to integrate it, upload it, that kind of thing, but to actually write the code. And while we watch me walk away chatting to the camera, introducing this video and this challenge, over the past 4 days there have been some life-changing lessons about psychology and how, even when we think we're using time-saving tools like AI, we're still all trapped inside what is called a Skinner box. More on that later. Let's get this started. Now, while I'm setting up, and just so you know, I won't be getting all technical with the types of files and how to transfer and that kind of a thing. This is just a journey of a middle-aged guy seeing whether it's even possible, just whether it's possible to use AI to create an app. I will, however, be getting into character. Thought I'd best quickly show the kind of app that I want to emulate, that I want to create a version of. Now this one is GhostTube from Amy's Crypt, and they're a ghost hunting channel. And this app itself is actually used by a number of paranormal groups. You'll see them on YouTube. What it is, you've got a bar here that moves across green to orange to red, and at a certain point, if it thinks it's the right level, it'll spit a word out at you. Like that, saying unquestionably, because that's how it works. Well, people do create scenarios like I just did then. And you can actually use a screwdriver and do this sort of thing. Move it near to the magnetometer, which is what it's using. And you can see the levels change with that, sometimes right up to the red, if you get the metal near. Yeah, anyway, looks like a bit of fun. That's what I'm going to try and make, something similar to this. Now, it's not to be forgotten that the Amy's Crypt app took them months to create, and so it should. It's got sensors, the voices, options to buy upgrades, and lots of stuff. My mission is simply to get something that, well, can it get somewhere similar to it in that 4 days? So where to start? Well, some places like Base44 let you just type in a prompt. The same sort of thing as making an image these days, and hey presto, out pops a fully working application. You might well have seen their adverts at the moment, and do let me know if one pops up for this video. That'd be kind of fun to know. With Base44 you don't need to know anything, you just, well, you have an idea, and then it's like they show in the adverts, you type it in, and up comes the finished app. It's ridiculously powerful. I tried it, and it really is eye-opening. We'll start with that one. Just have a look at this now. It's obviously not sponsored, by the way. I'm just curious about it. You can see here how I simply wrote the request, in this case for it to be something like the popular paranormal ghost hunting apps that are seen on YouTube, and away it went. Building, coding, creating. For a first effort, it doesn't look too bad, and it does talk when it thinks the magnetometer has been triggered.
Forget. Before.
The thing is, it just did it from that prompt. It gave a reasonable and very fast result of what I was looking for, and there's even the code for it. It's all right there. It just took about a minute to talk at me about what it was doing and then created the whole thing, free of charge. Now, to download that code or work on it heavily means registering, but it's an impressive thing, that's for certain. The app it was trying to start to make looks like it's intended for a PC by the files that were shown. I need something that can make a phone app instead. So, next I went to an AI that a lot of people say is crap for coding. ChatGPT. It was the same idea, make one of those word generator things as seen on the popular ghost hunting shows. Well, the experience with that AI was way different. I had to install Gable, an environment, also had to download the Android base files called the SDK and set it all up for coding to start. Mind you, ChatGPT did tell me what to download and where to download from. Once programming itself had begun, I immediately noticed something. It's not that ChatGPT didn't know what to do or kept messing up. It actually seems to have a teaching method to it. It makes you learn a bit as you go. It gets you used to the environment and the steps. Altering one file can mean you have to alter another, but you have to know where that one is. Then you have to compile it, look for errors and fix the errors. Then it would come to the uploading using USB-C connected to the phone. That was my method, which also meant enabling developer mode for the phone. It sounds scary, but it's just a procedure. Once you get going and you get a little bit more confident, you start making a couple of changes yourself, but you do find yourself relying on the AI for the base code. Now, that's where ChatGPT seems to forget where it's up to, creating files out of thin air that don't exist, or bringing in something of a big change that breaks the flow. You can be making changes, tweaking values and such, with it supplying all of the code for you to compile and upload, and then boom, it's no more useful than a chocolate teapot. Except, at a point, you might realise that it's telling you to make those changes yourself, that it isn't the right way forward to have it supply all the code and do everything for you. It does a very clever job of making you learn by doing such things. You want to know how to fix things yourself. Which made me think of the Skinner box, or variable ratio programming. Now do bear with me, because this is the psychology bit. In the 1930s, a guy called Skinner put a rat in a box. And the idea was, if the rat pulled a little lever, it would get some food. So they tried it, and the rat did pull the lever, and the food came out. And then they changed things around. They made it every 5th time, or every 25th time. But the rat got used to that. What it didn't get used to is when there was just a randomness to it, an extended randomness. It didn't know when it was going to get the food. And the thing went mad. It kept trying to press and press and press and press and press and press, and it kept that rat trying to get the food. They could also change the psychology of the rat. They could look at the rat and see that, well, when it was getting a bit tired of it and when it was slowing down, they would give it some food. And then afterward it would be there, going again, going again, going again. And then occasionally it might get some food, and most of the time it wouldn't. That behavioural technique is what's used in gambling machines, it's used on YouTube, and it's used on other social media sites to keep you on their site. And I thought to myself, you know, sometimes you might go to an AI and you might ask a question, and at the bottom it'll say, oh, can I also help you with? Can I suggest? It's trying to keep you there. And at the bottom of the page, or at the side, or somewhere, is likely an advert. I think it's related. So in fact, you see, as I went into day 2 and day 3, I became aware of something. And that was, I was sometimes getting rewards from the AI. But we have an out. And very cleverly, it seems to me anyway, ChatGPT was trying to say, look, if you do some of this yourself, if you learn some of these commands, if you know where you're going in your code, and you know what to do yourself, you won't end up in that Skinner box as much. So, after an intense 4 days of programming and possibly online and offline life lessons, the app is now done. And here it is on the screen. It's called WordSense. So I'll press it. Oh, the app starts, and there we are. That's what it looks like. I just wanted a nice, clean and simple layout. Not cluttered, but useful enough for when we're out in investigations and the micro Teslas change, and we should be able to get a word. I'll just demonstrate that first. I'll use this nail.
It's not safe.
It's not safe. Well, it is safe code because I created it. Now, with, of course, the help of ChatGPT. What we have on the screen are 3 settings. The sensitivity is low, medium or high. I've got the green bar that you've seen changes to orange and to the red. We've got the smoke effect background, we've got the logo at the top, well, the Spirit Investigations, which is our other channel, Wife and I's other channel. WordSense, of course, is the app. And this little fella here, which is our logo, changes every few seconds. So there we are. What we have is the last 4 words I remembered. I'll use this to simulate changes in EMF or microtesla values. So let's see. It doesn't fire every time, which is very similar to the way that the Amy's Crypt one works. You're not supposed to just, go right next to it with metal and off it will trigger. So, okay, now we'll have number 4, which will be... Let's see. Oh, there we are. Cold here. Is it really? And what'll happen next is, when it next goes off...
Can you hear?
I can, thank you. Then it replaces the first word that came up. So the last 4 are underneath, and the latest one is there in larger letters. I am very, very pleased with this, and it gives us something to try out when we're doing investigations. So I hope you enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun, a bit of a different video for me, but I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, please do consider liking and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next video.
They are here.
Hopefully returning.